Alright, remember how I talked about yesterday that
If it's a closed circle, like f times g, it'll be closed. When it's open, like this one that we're using today, it's composing functions. Don't forget that on your math workshop checkpoint. Because some people, like I was telling them to compose functions f of g, and they multiplied them. So when it's open, you compose functions. When it's closed, you multiply. The first type of functions we're going to be composing are when we have something to evaluate within them. So these are the easier ones. And then down here we're going to just compose functions, nothing to evaluate. Alright, when you have ones like this, there's something in the middle to evaluate. You always start inside. Start inside the function. And then work your way out. So think like order of operations, you start with parentheses. What's inside the parentheses, start inside and work out. So inside here is h of negative 2. That's what we're going to find first, h of negative 2. Which basically means we're going to do what? How do we find h of negative 2? Yes, into the function. So basically plugging this in for x, but using this function. So rewrite this function, but everywhere you see an x, you're going to put negative 2. So instead of x squared, negative 2 squared. Instead of 6x, 6 times negative 2, and then plus 8. We're going to evaluate that first. So negative 2 squared is what? Good. And then what would come next? Plus 8, good. So 4 minus 12 is what? Plus 8? Good. So h of negative 2 is 0. Now that we have that, you're going to plug it back into the original problem. Replacing this now with what?
0.
Yes, so now we're finding g of what?
0.
Good. Which means we're just plugging in 0 for x in this problem. So g of 0 would be negative 2 times 0 plus 1, which of course is 1. That's it. So a trick to this, you'll have 2 of these on your checkpoint. If there's a number inside, that's what you'll end up with, your answer. Notice this has a number and a letter. That's what you're going to end up with. Your answer should have a number and a letter inside it. This one just has a number, so you just get a number. Alright, we are going to skip over number 2 and move to number 3, and then you'll come back and do 2 on your own, because number 3 is a little more difficult. Alright, we start with what's inside the function, which is h of a plus 4. So we're going to take this function and plug in what for x? Yes, the entire thing. So it would be, instead of x squared, a plus 4 squared plus 6 times a plus 4 plus 8. Can I just distribute this squared right here and make it a squared plus 16? Okay?
No.
You have to pull it out. When you do that, when you distribute the squared, you're skipping the middle part, like the inner and outer part of the fulling. So I'm going to write it like this. Instead of squared, write it separately so we can pull it out. So what's going to be my first term? Outer.
Oh, 16. Oh, 4.
4 what? Good. Inside. Plus. Yes, that's why we can't just distribute that squared. You're leaving out these 4a's. They're important too. Their life matters. Alright, so now we're going to distribute this 6, which would make what? And then plus 8. Squeeze them in there. So h of a plus 4 is going to be what? A squared. Very good. 14a plus 48. Everybody see how we got those numbers? Alright, so this is what we're going to plug in to this now. We found h of a plus 4. So now we're going to find f of all of this. a squared plus 14a plus 48. Luckily, f of x is a pretty easy function. What is f of x? 5x. So really, we're just replacing the x with all of this. So basically multiplying 5 by all of these terms. So our final answer is going to be what? 5a squared plus, very good. So again, remember on Math Workshop, if you have an A, a letter and a number, you're going to have that in your answer. But if it's just a number, that's what you'll have. Alright, do 2 on your own. Let me know if you have questions, because remember you have a checkpoint today. I want you to do really well on it, so let me know if you have a question. You're welcome. Alright, go ahead and compare your answers. People around you, make sure y'all have the same thing. Alright, answers up on the board. Negative 30a plus 5. Do I need to go over this one? Negative 30a plus 5. Everybody's good? Okay, moving on. So now we are just composing functions with nothing to evaluate. It's a little different. We're going to find f of g of x and g of f of x for each term. So that's how you say it. The O is f of g of x, g of f of x. We'll start with f of g of x. Doesn't matter what you start with. I just always start with this one, fog. Alright, so whatever function is listed first, that's what you're going to write first. So what function is listed first? F. So we are going to rewrite this equation, but everywhere there's an x, and there's only one here, you're going to write a parentheses. So instead of negative 3x, you'll just write negative 3 parentheses. So I'm going to say it again. You start with this function, rewrite it without an x, just put parentheses. And what you're going to plug into this parentheses is this entire function, g. The entire thing, which is what? Yes. And all you have to do now is just clean it up. So f of g of x is what? Very good. That. 18. Yeah, I heard you, Tony. Negative 15x plus 18. Questions about that one? Alright, now for g of f of x, you're going to start with which function? G, which is here. You're going to rewrite it, except don't put an x. So I'll write 5 parentheses minus 6. So everything stays the same except the x. And now you're going to plug what in? Yes, the whole thing. So negative 3x. So g of f of x is what? Very good. Any questions about that? You can see it's not the same as multiplying. So again, if it has open circle, make sure you do this, composing functions. Any questions so far? Alright, just like last time, we'll skip 2. We'll do 3 together, then you can come back to 2. Alright, we'll start with f of g of x. Alright, which function? Yes, start with f. Put parentheses where all the x's are. And what do I put in the parentheses?
X squared.
Yes, the other function. And now cleaning it up. What is x squared squared?
X squared.
Next term?
Plus 3x.
And plus 1. What's up?
This one.
Yes.
So what if it looks like that, but like instead of g of x being x squared, what if it has like more than
One term.
yes ma'am.
You plug all of it in. So like if this was x squared plus 1, Cheney, you would put in here x squared plus 1, x squared plus 1. It'll be the whole function. Alright, next one's kind of lengthy, so give yourself some room. For g of f of x, I start with f, which is x squared. So you're going to just put a big parentheses and a squared. And what do you put inside the parentheses? What else? X squared
Plus 3x.
plus 1, the entire function. Alright, and we know that we're going to have to do what here? Distribute. We cannot distribute the squared. We have to actually multiply out x squared plus 3x plus 1 times x squared plus 3x plus 1. So we're going to distribute the x squared first to all 3 of these terms. Alright, let's start with Shania. Tell me the first term. Good. Carson?
3x cubed.
Good. Alright, Jenna, next term. We're distributing the x squared to each term. We just did the first 2. Jaden?
3x cubed.
Good. We're done with x squared, so we're moving on to 3x cubed. Sarah? Good. Alan?
3x.
Good. And then the last one, when we're distributing 1 to everything, that's just going to be everything repeated right here. So I'm just going to carry that down. X squared plus 3x plus 1. So, you write it up here, I guess. Final answer would be, what's my first term? X to the 4th. Next. 6x cubed. Good. Next. You sure? We had x squared and 9x squared and then an x squared here. Oh gosh. I'm sorry, I just had a moment. Alright, next one. 6x. Good. 6x plus 1. Alright. Any question about function composition? Cool. Alright, try 2 on your own. F of g and g of f. And then after this one and after we review it, we'll do your checkpoint if y'all have no further questions. Alright, you can go ahead and compare your answers. See who got what around you. Alright, Cabanus, what'd you get for f of g of x?
X squared plus 3x.
What do y'all think? Very good. Alright, Caleb, with a K, what'd you get for the next one? Yes. What do y'all think? Yes? Very good. Do I need to go over any of these? Which one?
How'd you get 11?
Okay, we'll go over g of f. Do I need to go over f of g as well? Yes? Okay. I'll start with f of g, and I'm going to just work it out on here so I'll have more room. Alright. F of g, I'm going to rewrite this function, x plus 4, as parentheses plus 4. You just replace the x. And then I'm going to plug g of x into that parentheses, which is x squared plus 3x minus 10. X squared plus 3x minus 10. I didn't leave myself enough room. Alright, a lot of people, I don't know in this class, I didn't see anybody do it, but a lot of people in my other classes were distributing this 4 to each term. Can we do that? Why? Yes, it's not multiplying. It's got an addition sign, so what's the only thing we can do here? Yes, these are the only two like terms, so when we combine them, we'll get negative 6. Everybody good with that one? Okay. For the next one, g of f of x, I'm going to rewrite this one. But I'm going to put parentheses where all the x's are. And put x plus 4 in the parentheses. This function in both parentheses. Did y'all distribute the square and make it x squared plus 16? I hope not. Remember you got a full right here. So first term squared. Next. 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 Good. What do I do here? The 3 to both terms. Minus 10. Good. So first term is x squared. Doesn't have any friends like Cheney. And then the next 3 terms we can add together. And then the next 3 are 16 plus 12, which is what? Minus 10? 18. Questions about composing functions? Does everybody feel comfortable with it? Or do we need to do some more? Good? Okay, and then plus on your checkpoint is going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Do we need to go over any of that? Everybody's good. Okay. So this semester, what I'm going to do at the checkpoints is second semester. Y'all know what I expect. I want to challenge y'all. Not challenge y'all. It's just going to happen. On your check.